Kirsten from JK Fiber Arts. Today we are going to be doing a little over dyeing of those fabulous Gotland locks from last weekend's Scour. I was super excited. The combing turned out great. In fact, in between dyeing, we'll run up and do a quick comb. I'll show you one of the nests. I also started spinning it. I've been obsessed with it. It's like liquid silver. I love it. I even carded a bat, and now this is the very last bit that I have, and I'll have to scour some more. But I wanted to over dye it a little bit just to see what it looks like. I think it'd be cool to use it in some blends or just some comb top, doing some blends on the hackle. I've got lots of crazy ideas running through my mind for this, and I have the color class coming up in 4 days at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I'm really excited about that. So with Jill Duarte from Hip Strings, and I'm super excited. So I am looking forward to that, and hopefully I'm going to learn some awesome new things about color and interplay with colors and blending. So let's get started. Welcome to my newly designed dye studio. And let's take a look at what's going on here. Here's what we will be working with today. I have what's left of my Gotland that's scoured, and I have a little bit of this Montadale I brought down, which I really haven't been talking about much, but it also is awesome. So we're gonna see if we can dye a little bit of this. I might put it in the crock pots. We'll see how everything's going here. And then we will hopefully next week be able to see some of this in action in some blends. Before we get started, we need to make sure the dry weight is very important, because that's how we're going to determine how much dye we're going to use and how much dye this fiber can hold. So we're going to tare my scale here and put this in. And I did already measure it, so I know it's around 245. So 245.3 grams. And I went ahead and divided that by 3, so it's comes out to about 81.6 grams per bin, because I'm going to divide this into thirds, and that's important for us to know. So now we're going to move on over here and start putting in our water. When we're dyeing, all the measurements are important. What I have here is just a liter cup, and just for ease of going back and forth to the sink, I have a couple of these larger mason jars. And I just know this from experience with my dye bath that 3 liters is what I like to put in my chafing dishes here. So I'm just going to put 3 liters in each of these. And then we'll be back to put the salt in. I like to use Glauber salt. And I have strainers in these too. I only have 2 strainers, so that just makes it easier. After everything's cool, I can just lift them out, and I have less worry about felting, because the water can just drain out. I don't have to worry about squeezing it with my hands too much. What I have here is a 10% Glauber salt solution, and I add the salt in the beginning here when I'm doing this wetting out process. And I am going to add, you're supposed to add 12 cc's per liter. I usually do add a little bit more, because I'm going to mix a little bit of water with my dye when I add it, and a little bit of water with my acid when I dye it. Not a ton, but enough that I add a little bit extra. And I'm going to just add that right into my tray here. I'm going to add that into all of them. And the Glauber salt, it like makes the colors a little more vibrant. And you definitely don't have to do that with everything. And you don't have to do it at all. It's optional. Oh, I'm going to put it in here too. I did load up the crock pots. I haven't done any weighing yet of the Montadale, but I will do that before we put it in here. And the other thing that's helpful is to know the pH of your water. I know that the pH of my water is 7. However, if you don't know the pH of your water, I highly recommend that you check it out. before you start. That will help when you're adding the acid, knowing if you need to add maybe a little more than the 12 cc's, 12 milliliters per liter of dye bath that's recommended. That's why it's important to know what weight of your, or I mean, what volume of water you have that you're soaking your fiber in. So the dry weight of the fiber is important when it comes to measuring out the dye. And the amount of liquid that you have in it is important when it comes to adding acid and salt. And then we're going to add our fiber and just let it wet out. Usually I wet out in a different container, and I will soak it typically for about 20 minutes. Because I scoured this, and I've actually scoured the Gotland twice, so now I know it's clean, and I don't feel compelled to put any soap in it or anything. So I'm going to just put it right in, and we'll let it soak right in the pan here. This is not turned on, this is cold water. Now we are going to go ahead and add this. This is the third of that 245, which is 81 point something, something, something. So, and I'm going to go ahead and just put this in here to soak. What I want is for this to be completely submerged and completely soaking. And I really actually think I do want to kind of mix it up a little bit. That way some of the dye pattern will be a little bit different. The little bit of soap that I will usually add in the wetting out process when I'm using a commercial top helps to break the surface tension of the water, and it allows the fiber to kind of soak down in there. The other thing too is I tend to use a lot more water when I'm wetting out the fibers, like tons of water. I put it in a big basin and let it really, really soak in there. And I put in enough acid to account for adding more water if we need to. We just have to count how much water we add if we need to change our acid. Let's add 1 more liter here. One more than our usual because it's gonna soak up, because it's dry, it's gonna soak up a little bit. Usually when I put it in, it's wet and everything is already soaked in. I think that will be good. All right, we'll let that soak for, and usually while this is soaking, I'm going to put the other 2 in, and I'm just going to add an extra liter to each of these. Usually while it's soaking, I'll go do the math and determine what colors I want to use and the math for how much I need of each thing. And then usually by that time, it's all ready to roll. I've done the math. I won't bother you with that, but that's usually how I use my time for my fiber to soak. And so for the Gotland, the first thing I wanted to try is a mix of these 3 here. The first one is this salmon color, and it's sort of like a pinkish red, like, you know, the salmon color fish. And I think it'll look cool with magenta. My other choice or thought was using the oxblood, which is the red, like the deep dark red, and I still might go back to that, but this is how I basically kind of figure out what I want to do. And it's a rough idea, but it gets the job done. So I'm just going to take a little dot there, a little bigger than I wanted, but that's what the salmon looks like. And then I'm just going to rinse my syringe here. And we're going to try the magenta with that and see if I like how it goes together. And as usual, I always reserve the right to change my mind. What I'm going to do is just use my little teaspoon for this, just so I can get little dots. There we are. And there's some magenta, so I may end up going with the oxblood instead of the salmon. We'll see here. I'm trying to switch my wide mouth. These are the narrow mouth, so I can't switch these out yet till I buy some lids for them. From the actual canning lids to the plastic ones. because, well, one, I just discovered they exist, and two, they seal better. And I've been burnt a couple of times now by shaking up the jar, and the seal has gone bad, which happens more often than you would think. So here's the oxblood with the magenta. Yeah, I think I might end up going with oxblood. Well, we'll see. This is the one that explodes on me all the time. Look at the front of it. So I got a new lid, and now it doesn't explode on me anymore. Yay! In fact, it's exploded on me so much that I often wonder if it's even 1% depth of shade anymore. And that's what these jars are. I mix them up 1% depth of shade. And then I just do anything I want to do after that from there. I'll put a little yellow there and a little yellow here. See how we like everything together. I think I'm going to go magenta yellow oxblood. I think that's going to give me more what I want. So magenta yellow oxblood it is for what I think I want to see on this lock. And I've already done the math for it. So we're going to do, and I want to do my magenta at 0.5% depth of shade because it is a really powerful color. So I'm going to dilute it down a little bit. So I'm going to put it at 0.5% instead of full 1%, which is what we're seeing on our paper towel here. So let's see, I need 10 cc's of the magenta, and I have these little like little condiment jars that I got at the restaurant depot. So I'm just going to put my 10 cc's in here. Oh, I forgot to get my water out for you guys. I got distracted. Let me go fill my water. And I need 10 cc's of water. I'm just going to grab over here. Add that to our magenta, and that's going to give me my 0.5%. And then the next thing we're going to do is our yellow, and we're going to use that straight up 1%. So I'm going to want 25 cc's of my yellow. Here's our yellow, and then we want our oxblood. We want that at the same 0.5%. So we're going to do another 10 of water and 10 of dye. That gives us our 0.5%. And we have our first run ready. And then the next one we're going to do is the Emerald Aquatropic and Crocodile. Now we have Emerald. Emerald, and we're going to do that full on 1%. I love emerald. It's so pretty. It's one of my favorite colors. Aquatropic is also one of my favorite colors and is coming up next. So we've got emerald, we've got the aquatropic coming here, and we have a new color which I haven't used yet, crocodile green. I just mixed it up a couple weeks ago, 10 days ago, somewhere in there. So I just haven't had an opportunity to use it yet. But this aquatropic is also super favorite. This is going to look really cool when this kind of blends together. Look at that. Oh. And then our last one is this crocodile green because I wanted it to get just a little bit darker. And there we have a darker green to go with it. So I think that's going to look really pretty together. I'm not going to change a darn thing about that. We're going to do all those right as is. So I just need 20 cc's of each one. Perfect. So I'm trying to think about the salmon color still because I like it. I just can never think of when I want to use it. When it dries, it sort of looks like pink lemonade. So I don't know. Maybe I'll mix some sort of summer lemonade strawberry blend and it'll go good with that. All right, our third and final Gotland run is all of these beautiful blues and purples. And so that was the aquatropic. So now we're going turquoise, which is super beautiful too. I love all these jeweled colors. So this is the turquoise, and here it's a lot brighter than the aquatropic. The brilliant blue is here. See, that's pretty together also. And then our final is the intense iris. That looks lovely. So I think I might actually make the purple a little bit darker. So I'm going to change my 1% to 2% depth of shade, which means I'm just going to use double the amount. Originally, I was going to use 25, so I'm going to use 50 cc's of that. And since I already have it open and have the syringe out, let's just do it. And for these, I'm not doing anything out of, this is just very minimal. I do, when I'm like hand dyeing stuff, I mix little amounts of these colors together to get different shades and tints. And sometimes I'll spend a whole day just making a color that I want. So this is just a very quick, because I'm going to use using blends, so I'll be able to adjust it other ways. So I'm not doing any really blending of colors or mixing anything together here. I'm going to let the dye bath do that for us. Here we are. We have all our stuff ready here. So we're going to be doing this and this and this on the Gotland. And then on the Montadale, this one made a big bloop, but there's blue underneath there. Turquoise, brilliant blue, and the yellow. And my hope is that we're going to get this lovely splash of green, but bigger. And that's what I like to see on these other ones too. There's going to be some blending, especially on this one. I hope we get a lot of blending. And then the last one is this. This one I had to remix. I had to heat it up. The granules weren't dissolved, so that should be better now too. And that's why I test them on my little palettes first, and we'll see what we get. We are just about ready to add. And remember, these colors are going to be different because well, it'll be as bright probably on the Montadale because it's white. But on the Gotland, we've got the silvery gray, and it will definitely change the color a little bit. So it will be toned down. Let's take a look here. Usually this will start to, so yeah, now you can see it's all completely soaked. No more sticking up little white stuff or, dry stuff like before. So I think we'll be ready as soon as this gets to temp. Right now it says it's at 131, 132. That's not the actual temp. That's the temperature of the water underneath the chafing dish. I do have my electric or my laser reader here. And the water's always cooler in the chafing pan top here. Open this up for a second. So that says 138. That says 126. 121. It's usually hotter right in the center because that's where the heating element is. So I usually try to very gently spread that water around a bit just to distribute the heat. But that only works until you put the dye in. Otherwise, I'm spreading the dye everywhere. Okay, we are going to go ahead and add our dye. And I think I'm going to do it long ways like this. So I'm just going to add all of my magenta. And this is going to still spread a bit. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of mixing with this. Oh, I already like the magenta. I'm just making sure it gets down in here a little bit, but it's going to still move a little bit because I'm not going to add the acid until we get up to temp, and we're not at temp yet. This is all going to blend together here. And we're going to add now into the second tray. And sorry about the noise. This isn't entirely my dye studio. My husband does ride his bike down here, so we share the space. So here's our aqua. And we have our crocodile. I love this crocodile too. I'm loving it. Crocodile and our emerald. I know I love this color on the gray because I overdyed some for a sweater. Not Gotland, but it was a gray Polworth, and it was beautiful. In fact, I started knitting the sweater and I have never gotten past the neck. So it's still in the bag, sitting there with this beautiful yarn. All right, for this one, I'm going to put the purple dead center just because it'll get on both series of locks here. And we have the blue and the turquoise. One of the things we can do is just sort of not mess with it very much and just see where it is when we put the acid in, how much it's floated together. So we'll let that middle part empty. I won't stir it or anything. We'll see what happens. But it will all blend together as we come to temp here. And here we are with our Montadale. And this is roughly 50 grams of each here. And again, I kind of want to see this swirl effect. So I'm going yellow here. Turquoise. Or aquatropic. I can't remember what we said earlier. And I think this is the blue. Yeah. I'm going to let this kind of just sit in here and soak. And here's our last little 50 grams of Montadale. And my husband's still working out in the background, so that's what you hear. Sounds like somebody's dying. That's him. And I'm just going in kind of focused in one spot because this is deep down in there. And we're just going to let that do what it's going to do, and we'll come back and put some acid in it here in a bit. Okay, we are adding our acid, and what I've done is I've mixed my acid with some very hot tap water to help reduce any felting, and I'm going to go ahead and add this in. And I'm just going to make sure we mix it in enough so that everything's getting acid. Not really mixing, but you know. And we're going to let this go for about 35-40 minutes. It's not quite to temperature, but what I have learned is if you cook this for 35 to 40 minutes and then turn the heat off and leave the lid on, it works great and everything exhausts and it doesn't get too hot. We're ready for the next one. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, I love the way this one looks. How pretty this one is. Let's add our acid here. Here's our third and final Gotland. Ooh, look at that blue. Oh, yeah. Ooh, my glasses are all fogged up. I'm just going to add this acid in here. And I'm just going to see how this does for us. Here we have, oh, that looks cool. I like that one. Our acid all in there. And our final one with our Montadale. Oh, this is so pretty too. So this is filled to the brim. Hopefully I'm not going to overflow it when I add this. It's going to be a close thing. I'm actually going to see if I can get some of this down to the bottom here, because this is very, very close to being too full. I really like this one too. Ooh, it is a little full. Okay, I overflowed it. Darn it. Here we are about 40 minutes later. And this one is completely exhausted already. Let me see, I'll just pour some in the lid here so you can see, but it's completely clear. can see the water there. It's completely clear. And I'm just going to leave the lid off, and I've turned off the pot, and we'll just let that one go ahead and cool off, and it'll take a long time. So, you know, I'll probably see you back maybe even tomorrow. But it looks so cool. I love the way the blues have gone here. Now let's take a look at this one. Oh, this one also has exhausted, I can see very easily. Here we have the reds. Sorry, my microphone died, so I have to voice over the rest of this. And you can see the dye is not quite exhausted. So we are going to check our acid and see if the pH is acidic enough to allow this to take up the dye. I keep my handy pH paper here. You really need to have pH paper to dye. You really need to know when you have an acid problem because there's 3 reasons that dye typically won't exhaust. 1, your math is wrong. 2 is the pH of the water. 3 is the temperature of the water. And 4 is the amount of time that you've had it at the ideal conditions. So here we have, it looks like our acid's actually pretty good. We're between 5 and 6. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more acid here. I'd like to see this pH more in the 5 range. That way we have our best chance at getting a fully exhausted dye. Here we are with the greens, and this also hasn't exhausted yet. The pH here looks to be pretty good. I think we're a solid 5. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, that's a 5. So no extra acid needed. Moving on to the blues. Let's see how things are looking here. Again, this one's not quite exhausted either. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick pH check and check our acid level. And I think, let's see what we got here. I think this is looking pretty good. That is definitely at least a 6, maybe a 5. The tip of it looks a lot darker than the middle, and I think we're good. Right here on the tip, that looked a lot darker. So I think we're right in that, again, 5, 6 pH. We're just going to close this up and let it continue doing its thing. So this has been overnight, and this has exhausted, even though it looks like it didn't. It's just the red in the reflection here. So let's draw some of this up so you can see it. So you can see it's clear. I'm going to go ahead and rinse this. And let's see what we get here. I have my other light upstairs. I just have, well, this looks like it is close. Let's see here. Maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. Oh, it's pretty good, actually. It is pretty clear. It must be some weird blue reflection. Let's put it up here. Yeah, I like it. Might have a little tiny tinge of blue in there. But mostly looks like it. I'm going to call that exhausted for me, especially since all that blue was in there yesterday. You saw what it looked like. So I'm happy with that. And next up is the dreaded turquoise. Ah, the turquoise. I always have, the turquoise can be difficult, especially when you do it at 1% depth of shade, which is what I did. Usually at 0.5% it exhausts beautifully, but at 1% I can have trouble. Let's see if it, oh, no, I can see already it's no good. So I have a little bit left in here, and I added extra acid yesterday. You guys saw me do that, and I left it in there in the heat, and so it still clearly has some blue in there. So I'm going to rinse this, and we'll just rinse it until the water's clear. And that's kind of disappointing. It didn't exhaust, but it'll still be beautiful. Look how pretty the locks are, though. Ooh, it's gonna be good. Just a quick, before everything blows away, it's super gusty here. This is, the rinse obviously was clear. This one was exhausted and out of the spin dryer. And I'm gonna cover this with my screen, and I'll try to do a quick picture of each one as they come out of the spin dryer. Our first Gotland out of the spin dryer. Again, clear water. Again, this is the one we know exhausted the red. Oh, whoops, I turned it on instead of off. Let's try that again. All right. Ooh. See what this looks like. Oh my gosh, it looks so cool. All right, let's put this on the drying rack here. So this is the blue. Here we are in my little rinsing station. And this was the water, which clearly has a little bit of blue left in it. Here we are in the rinse though, and this has been soaking for about 3 minutes because I went outside, maybe 4 minutes because I went outside and emptied the spin dryer and put it on the drying rack with the red. And that water is looking pretty clear. So I'm gonna dump this so you can see what it looks like and how blue it is, and then we're gonna go through this second rinse, or I mean the first rinse. This is the pan that it came in, so I just put it into the first rinse here. Okay, so here we are now, and this is around 5 minutes. I washed my other pan out, and what I'm going to do, I don't think I can do this one-handed, but the water looks nice and clear, and that's what I expected. I didn't think that we had too much dye in here, and I was pretty sure my math was right. So let me pull this strainer part out, and I'll show you what water looks like beneath this. Okay, so here we are now. And this is around 5 minutes. I washed my other pan out. And what I'm going to do, I don't think I can do this one-handed, but the water looks nice and clear. And that's what I expected. I didn't think that we had too much dye in here, and I was pretty sure my math was right. So let me pull this strainer part out, and I'll show you what water looks like beneath this. All right, here we are with the gorgeous blue. And water is crystal clear, and I was reviewing my video, and all I have is a very brief video of the pan. I don't know what I was doing. I just have a bunch of videos of the camera laying flat on the tub. I don't know what I did, but here is the blue in here. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. Okay, let me get this out of here. Look at this blue. Ah. Now it'll be a little lighter when it dries, but still. And look, there's the turquoise in there. Ooh, I love it. All right, let's put this up on the drying rack before it blows away. All right, I saved our problem child for last with all the turquoise. Everything so far has been awesome. Let's see how this is. So this has been soaking in here for probably 10 minutes now. I'm going to dump this, and we can see, well, don't really need anything to see how blue it is. Okay, so I am just finished gently kind of pushing this down, making sure that we get a good rinse here. I think that this looks good. Well, miracles never cease. I guess math is right. Somehow I must have had too much dye. I don't know why, but I mean, it doesn't seem to be a ton of excess here. This time I won't mess up the video. Let me pull the strainer out and record the bottom here. Here's our water. I think that definitely has a blue tinge to it. Let's dump it and see. Yeah, so there's a little blue. I can see it down there. Very, very faintly. You can see it more. Well, it's very faint, but I think there's blue in there, so I'm gonna rinse it one more time. I did think this was gonna be our problem child. It's very, very faint. Very faint. Probably would be okay, but I don't want this to bleed if anybody ends up getting it other than me. So let's do it one more time. Hopefully I don't get my phone jacked up. I've got so much water on it. All right, so here, I'm gonna put this in. So this will be the second rinse, and I hardly ever do a second rinse. I mean, I do pride myself on math. So I'm letting you see the fact that I somehow managed to not exhaust this turquoise, which is a bummer. The only thing that I can think of, because it was slightly not exhausted in both, was I used the metal strainer inside the pan, and maybe the heat didn't get up as high as it typically does. That's the only thing I think I did differently, but it does kind of bother me. I usually can get turquoise to exhaust. I know it can be a little bit challenging, but I usually can. So you get to see how I messed up, but I don't think my math was wrong. So I think that it had something to do with the temperature, because we checked the acid, the pH was great, so it had to be temperature and time. So I thought that it was up to temperature, and maybe it wasn't. With the extra layer of metal in the pan with the strainer, which I hadn't used before, but I thought, oh, it's Gotland, I want to be super careful. I used the strainer. So maybe that was it. We'll see. In the future, I will not use the strainer and see if it makes a difference. Okay, I think we got it now. I'm going to pull this up. I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this one-handed, although it's not that much. Oh, I can do it one-handed. Haha. Let's see, so there we are. That looks pretty clear. So I'm going to drain this, and then we'll dump it and see if it looks clear on the tub. Alrighty, let's see if this is clear. Oh yeah, that's crystal clear. Okay, so 2 rinses, I guess not the worst case scenario, but it is clear. So, and I gotta say, I love this green so far. I think I'm gonna actually, since I have the recipe, do it on some top and see if it turns out as amazing. I actually have some gray, oh, you know what? I have some gray Polworth yak. Oh my gosh, okay, well, that's a thought that I will go write down, but now we're gonna put this in the spin dryer. All right. Well, let's see the water. Crystal clear. Yeah, I think so. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna go put this up to dry. I am in love with this. All right. I will see you back here once all this is dry, and we will be ready to take a look at our final stuff. Oh, I love this. Here we have the Montadale. Oh, look at this. It's so fluffy. It's like a cloud. Next time, you'll see us probably doing some combing, carding, something with this, along with the white, I think. So here is the Montadale. Before it gets too windy, I'm going to go ahead and store this. But seriously, oh, and oh. I should have saved that sound because, look, the locks are over there. Holy moly. Here we are. Oh, look at this. It looks amazing. So light and fluffy and looks so golden. And that's, I think, that pink that kind of went way down. I don't know if you can appreciate this very light pink at the ends here. See, the pink is in there, kind of making it look golden almost. I love it. I love it. Okay, so here's one, and now we got 2 more to go. And this is, I love this, and this is probably my least favorite, and I still love it. Look at these. Oh, so pretty. I really love the slight variation. Remember when I was doing this and I said it was gonna look very tropical, and it sure does. All right, my favorite. Look at this. Oh my gosh, just look at it. The sheen, everything about it is amazing. That just means the wind's probably gonna blow it away any second. So we are going to take this in before it blows away. So here you have it. The Gotland and the Montadale dyed, and oh, there goes my screen. So now I have nothing to protect it. I will see you guys next time. I have lots of cool stuff coming, and I want to make a blend with this on my hackle. So that's what we're going to do. We'll blend some of this Gotland and maybe some of the Montadale. We'll see, add in some other stuff. I'll think of something. And we're going to go ahead and make some comb top blend. I'll see you next time. Until then, spin happy.